Tonight on the news, federal government discloses plans towards subsidy removal by first quarter next year. Plus, Lagos State Governor said to preside over 2022 appropriation before State Assembly tomorrow. Good evening and welcome to Nta Lagos Channel 10 News. I am Victoria Olabode. We begin the news with the federal government saying working on unconditional transfer for the citizenry to cushion the effect of subsidy removal may come into effect in the first quarter of 2022. Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed said this at the unveiling of Nigeria Development Update at the World Bank Group in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
This is the second time that the World Bank is launching Development Update on Nigeria this year. The twice-a-year Development Assessment Report indicates that subsidy, high inflation, and fiscal risk, among other factors, are major impediments on growth, despite projections of 2.7 growth in 2021 and 2.8 in 2022.
For the federal government, what we're projecting is that next year, in comparison to 2021, the federal government could be receiving 13% lower revenues in nominal terms.
To support Nigeria in making progress on this core task of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty.
The report highlights the urgency of reducing inflation, subsidy removal, flexible foreign exchange management, and protecting the poor as critical measures needed to speed up recovery.
So this report for us is another wake-up call. It's like shaking everybody out of maybe the stupor that we're in to galvanize the whole of the community, so that is government, including citizens, to take that bold, decisive action. Those actions that need to be taken, they are painful. They are not going to be popular, but actions that need to be taken so that we can make progress.
This need to be in place because we can do. It's not a failure of communication. It is just social reality that you never plan fully for it. And of course, those engagements still ongoing. And that is why the PIA did realize the very fact that it's not something you can do quickly. And the provisions of the law is such that by end of February, that we should be out of the subsidy regime. That is what the Honorable Minister is in fact.
As state governments, we are committed to supporting the federal government on this compact. We will do our bit to engage with all stakeholders and put the facts on the table so that everyone understands the danger the country is in if this subsidy continues, as well as the benefits that can accrue.
Policymakers are expected to take advantage of the recommendations. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar.
Commitment to hold 2022 budget on the 14th of December 2021 before embarking on Christmas and New Year holidays. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, on Tuesday's plenary announced that Wednesday, 21st of November 2021 is the last day for subcommittees to send budget reports before Senate commences on appropriations. He noted that the National Assembly is committed to sustaining the January to December budget cycle, which has been in place for some years now.
Please, for 2 years now.
Tomorrow, no matter what, we have to conclude with the budget defense by the subcommittees before the Committee on Appropriations. And it is very important, in fact, it is very, very essential that we keep to our timetable. Otherwise, we may run into a very serious problem with our time for the budget to be considered and passed by the 14th of December. I'm sure that our committees will be able to appear before the Committee on Appropriations by tomorrow.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu will tomorrow present his 2022 foliate. What's there?
Executive arm of the government, as a formal message, has been sent to the House of Assembly to prepare to host the governor and his cabinet members for the year 2022 budget presentation. Speaker, Lagos House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, who presided over the sitting, directed the acting clerk of the House to read the letter to the legislators.
In view of the foregoing, the Honorable House is hereby invited to consider the proposal for the year 2022 budget, of which copies are forwarded for your kind deliberation and consideration.
The lawmakers thereafter passed the bill for a law to establish Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service and for connected purposes. There was also deliberations which led to the passage of a bill to create Lagos State University of Science and Technology.
That a bill for a law to establish Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service and for connected purposes be passed into law. All in favor say aye. Those against nay.
Part of the provisions of the new bill is to protect the men laboratories.
Both bills were passed after committees on Home Affairs and Tertiary Education conducted separate public hearing on the bills. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
NTA Lagos Channel 10 News will continue after this time out. Please stay with us.
How to make a perfect bowl of love? A perfect blend of taste that brings every ingredient to life. The fusion of different spices. The unique aroma that rejuvenates your senses. The heart-warming deliciousness. And the satisfaction that comes from every bite, which makes you say, I love my Indomie. How to make a perfect bowl of love? A perfect blend of taste that brings every ingredient to life. The fusion of different spices. The unique aroma that rejuvenates your senses. The heart-warming deliciousness. And the satisfaction that comes from every bite, which makes you say, I love my Indomie.
Thank you for being there. As the federal government awaits the Lagos State government's white paper on the NSAS Judicial Panel of Inquiry report, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said it is disheartening that the report as submitted contains errors, discrepancies, innuendos, and claim of facts that are unsubstantiated. Anthony Folsom reports.
Is currently circulating in public space is simply a rehash of unverified fake news.
Flanked by the Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, and Special Assistant to the President on Media, Office of the Minister of Information and Culture, Shehu Ademi, Lai Mohammed dismissed contents of the report, saying the panel's report falls short of its mandate to investigate the Lekki Tollgate allegations, and the same allegations are what is contained in the report, which by all standards wasted taxpayers' money.
That report is nothing but the trial of fake news and intimidation of the silent majority by a prosperous age mob.
In the face of these, some commentators have hailed the report, but some courageous ones, he said, have described it as disgraceful.
All these and many more have raised right questions on that report. We salute their courage and refusal to be cowed by rapidly rich more that have been screaming through water since the report was released.
Pointing out key issues that clearly expose discrepancies, errors, and omissions. Lai Mohammed said the report omitted the testimony of a ballistic expert who testified before it and gave a professional explanation to what caliber of arms was used. which made it obvious that firearms used were locally fabricated weapons. The panel's report, Lai Mohammed again pointed out, also contradicted itself in the testimony of forensic pathologist Professor John Obafunwa on the number of deaths and those who sustained injuries. Most intriguing, the minister fingered, was the evidence of a man who counted 11 dead bodies in a black military van having been left for dead, emerged in a video to testify. That testimony became crucial to the panel. Another intriguing aspect of the report was that a man who reported seeing the dead body of his brother himself ended up being on the list of the panel's deceased persons. Inconsistencies in the way the police were said to have cleared the Lekki toll gate equally cast some doubt on the report, Lai Mohammed maintained. Now, Lai Mohammed asks, how can the panel convince anyone that names of deceased persons in the report are not fictitious? Since the panel remains indifferent with the case of police personnel brutally murdered or massive destructions of police stations and vehicles during the NSAS protests, it is therefore clear that the panel report in circulation cannot be relied upon. CNN on its part, Lai Mohammed said, was quick to celebrate the report.
CNN in its report on the findings of the panel, which were below the main standards of journalism. Secondly, CNN rushed to the air to celebrate an unsigned and unverified report as a riddled with inconsistencies, errors, discrepancies, and irregularities.
Here in Lagos, the state government is exploring potential in culture and tourism sector to strengthen traditional institutions and boost economic development across the metropolis. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who was represented, made this known at a one-day cultural heritage event tagged Asha Day in Lagos. Musa Toliat again reports.
It was a day set aside by Lagos State government to celebrate the Yoruba cultural heritage and chart a new path to the resuscitation of traditional practices and languages that are dear to citizens in the southwestern part of the country. Cultural practices by young Nigerians, traditional aid with renditions, and various colorful display of masquerades were a delight to watch.
There is need, first and foremost, for government to realize it is only when they show interest that they will be able to give necessary support, that they will be able to create environment for the practitioners to do it to that level of commercialization.
The program is a very good program and a great one. Very amazing.
The event tagged Asha Day is an initiative of Lagos State government and the private sector to emphasize the need to explore various commercial opportunities inherent in a blend of cultural heritage and tourism to actualize the digital economy efforts of the state government.
There are so many job opportunities in our culture. So we'll go back now to the ministry, to the expo, to discuss the job opportunities that are embedded in this our culture, and we'll bring that to the public.
Our own cultural artifacts, our dressing, and every other thing that have to do about our culture can also be projected to the world, to the global market.
It is the maiden edition of Asha Day, and Lagos State government intends to take the cultural heritage campaign to schools and various communities across the state. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
That was the news, but before we go, always remember that the girl child is a strength of our home. Respect, cherish, and protect her from any form of abuse. This message is from Nta Lagos, Channel 10. I am Victoria Olabode. Bengaloyede is standing by for the Yoruba translation of the news. Good evening.
Ẹ kú àṣálẹ́, ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Àkójọpọ̀ ìròyìn ló ń dé sí etí ìgbọ̀yìn láti iléeṣẹ́ amóhùnmáwòrán ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Gbẹ̀ngàn Olóyèdè ni oníròyìn. Ìròyìn rèé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. Ìṣèjọba àpapọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí sọ wípé àwọn ń ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun wọn láti rí wípé wọ́n yọ gbogbo àwọn kùdìẹ̀kudiẹ tó ń yọ àwọn ènìyàn orílẹ̀-èdè yìí lẹ́nu kúrò nípa yíyọ ìpalára tí ó wà nínú owó ìrànlọ́wọ́ epo kúrò, èyí tí wọ́n sọ wípé ìgbésẹ̀ náà lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ nínú abala kìíní ti ọdún 2022 tó ń bọ̀ wá. Mínísítà tó mójútó ẹ̀ka ìṣúná orílẹ̀-èdè yìí Sinab Ahmed ló gbé gbólóhùn ọ̀rọ̀ náà kalẹ̀ níbi ètò ìṣíṣọlójú ti ìdàgbàsókè tó wáyé láti ọ̀dọ̀ ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ilé ìfowópamọ́ ti àgbáyé tó wáyé ní ìlú Àbújá. Ọ̀la òde òní ni gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ọ̀gbẹ́ni Babájídé Sanwó-Olú yóò ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ètò ìṣúná fún ti ọdún 2022 tó ń bọ̀ wá níwájú àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Aṣáájú tó ní ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ púpọ̀ ní ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó